finally got into wrestling, my first sport, when I was a sophomore in high school. It was just a fluke kind of situation. My brother had this friend who went to military camp, and he came back, and since I was a tomboy, I was used to beating them up, and then I guess they had hit their boy strength, like where they hit puberty or whatever, and he kind of like was beating me up, and he was like, well, don't feel bad, I went to wrestling camp and I'm a wrestler now, and girls can't wrestle, so don't feel bad. And I was like, oh, what? Did you say girls can't do something? And I got that mentality, and he said, yeah, don't feel bad, girls can't wrestle. So I went out, I joined the wrestling team the next day, and I stuck with it for all through high school, and got progressively better and transitioned into college, and that was my main sport. Not a lot of people know this, but I got in trouble and actually had to go to juvenile hall, and I got into a whole bunch of trouble like my senior year, and I almost lost my scholarship to go to college and stuff. Yeah, but really what it was wrestling that kind of saved me from a life of jail and who knows what, So I was very unanchored at the time, and wrestling kind of kept me way down, I guess you could say. And then after college, I went to college, and I was a good kid and wrestled and didn't drink or anything, and I was really structured. But then I kind of lost my direction after college as well, and MMA has now been my wrestling. It's anchored me like wrestling used to when I was in high school and when I was in college. So people find out I'm a fighter, they're usually 95% of the time shocked and taken back. I think it kind of has to do with the fact that I'm a female, and just like female wrestling, female fighting is not as known as male fighters. And so once they get past the fact that there is such thing as female mixed martial arts, they realize, they start looking at me, they're like, oh, okay, I can see it now, your body, and you know what I mean, and maybe got a little tougher persona, so they're taken back, and then once they find out, then they want to know all about it, then they embrace it, and they think it's so cool, and so that makes me really happy, because once it's out there and exposed, then people are really into it. So, and it makes me hopeful that women's MMA does have a future, and it can really grow and flourish. I'm gonna realize that I do become a different person when the cage door closes. Until this last fight, one of my teammates was telling me that I guess after the bell rang for my last fight, I got in a couple shots after, and I just didn't realize it during the fight, and I started thinking like, I think I just have like an on switch, and I don't think about being nice or friendly or any of that stuff inside the cage, and I don't go in there thinking that I want to like break her arm or hurt her, but I'm so focused on winning, and that I don't think about anything else besides just going in there and getting the job done. I consider myself very professional. I don't like to talk crap. I don't be cuss. I don't like to talk crap. I don't like to gloat. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna showboat after I win. You know what I mean? I just want to go in there and win. I just want to do what get paid to do. That's it. I think that the successful fighters have a lot of aggression, because I don't know what it is that drives each person. I think it's different for every person, whether it's family or religion, money, fame, whatever it is that drives the person. You have to have a lot of aggression. It's just the name of the game. It's mixed martial arts. It's fighting. It's cage fighting. It's a really tough sport. And I think the really successful fighters have a ton of aggression, a ton. And I think that's another reason why people look at women and they're like, where does aggression come from? Like testosterone, and it's like, well, you're a woman and you're supposed to have more estrogen, it's kind of weird, but, women have primal urges and primal instincts, protect their young and, whatever you can say, but, women are some of the most vicious, people out there for the most part, I really think that the women in the sport right now that are really dedicating themselves and working their butts off are doing the right things, they're training hard. They're promoting themselves, in good ways. They're being faithful to great promotions that are looking to promote women's MMA. But unfortunately, since society does like women, women's entertainment to be a little flashy or pretty or whatever it is, it's going to take a little more flair for women's MMA to be successful, I think, than opposed to men's MMA, you know? I think, unfortunately, you could take two great male fighters, put them in a cage, have a great fight, and that will sell. Two female fighters, put them in the cage, have a great fight, and it's not going to sell as much. It's going to take something else just because that's the way society is a little bit. I don't like it, but that's the way it is, you know? And if we don't acknowledge that, then it's just going to, women's MMA is going to sink. The only way we're going to be successful is if we acknowledge, like, okay, we can't change that, so let's do something about it.